Hello, Craftin buddies, or shall I say Scrappin buddies, because tonight I'm going to pull out a scrapbooking kit. But first, I'm waiting for my two devices to sync up with me so I can see if anybody joins me live. And if anybody does, that's awesome. And hopefully I can keep up with any comments. So I'm going to make just a couple of quick announcements while I wait for these devices to sync up. First off, we are down to about the last hour and 10 minutes for this Stamptacular 24-hour sale. Stampin' Up is offering 15% off stamps and stamp tools. Anything that's on the last chance list doesn't count because those are probably already reduced. But it ends at midnight Mountain Time. All right. So, next announcement. Stampin' Up has this 12 days of crafting advent calendar. It is a $90 product, $99 product, sorry, but it's big actually. And under each of these 12 pockets, it's a thick like book. There are tools, embellishments, dies, paper, and there's a stamp kit as well. So I am looking forward to that. Sales for that kit begin on the 23rd. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And let me just see if I can find the channel and force it here. Oh, I guess I have sound. Alrighty, let's get my other device up here too. There we go. I don't know why though. Sometimes they come up automatically and sometimes not. Okay, another event coming up is World Card Making Day. This is on October 4th. This is basically a virtual event that Stampin' Up puts on every year. It's an hour long where Stampin' Up leads through whatever project it is they're working on. This year it is a kit, handmade and heartfelt kit. So it's, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it is basically like a desk box that you can put the cards in. You can put your stamps in there. You can put like your postage stamps, your writing utensil. The envelopes will fit in there. The kit itself is $32. The event is free. If you are local to me and you are interested in doing this with me, I will have the studio open from 2 to 5. So Mountain Time is from 2 to 3. So we'll be from 3 to 4 for the virtual event. So we'll watch it on the TV in my studio here and we'll craft along. But I'll have the studio open before the event and sometime after it so we can, have some snacks and just chit chat and do whatever it is that we decide to do. Last announcement. Traditions of Christmas. Stampin' Up is going to start offering a virtual craft class. And this actually, the class is $30. So you would have to purchase a class. And then they are also promoting the suite of products that goes with that. Now, I already have most of the things that we need. So I don't know that I'll be ordering anything else. So if I don't have something, I will probably supplement with what I have here. Hello, Nicole. Welcome from Perth, Western Australia. I just finished all of my announcements, and I don't know if you are a scrapbooker or a memory keeping person, but since we are closing in on October, which is where the United States at least has Halloween holiday, if you will, I thought I would do the scrapbooking kit that Stampin' Up offers. I think I showcased this one time when I was showing some products, but we're actually going to start going through some of the instructions and laying it out. I'm not sure how far we'll get tonight because it's not something that will typically be finished in an hour. Anybody who's watching this, if you do purchase this product, or even if you just go to my website, there is revised instructions because there were some typographical errors apparently in these instructions. So I retyped mine. I'm sorry, I reprinted mine. I didn't type it over. And I'm not even going to go through and see what was a misprint. I know this page, there's a misprint for the pieces. Hey, Juju, how are you? I'm going to do a scrapbooking kit. So you already missed some of my announcements. Um, some of them are for people that are local to me anyway. So neither one of you would be able to come. You love Halloween. Awesome. So you might like this kit. There are also a number of products that are not part of the scrapbooking kit. And I've shown these before because I did make a couple of little cards with these before. I kind of got out of doing Halloween stuff for a while because my kids were grown and I didn't have any grandkids. But now that we have Riley, she's going to be 8 in December. So now we're doing Halloween stuff again. So here are some of the products from the Spooky Halloween suite. So there's the stamp set, there's dies, there's some iridescent bags. I may use some of this on the scrapbooking page, I don't know. And there's some foam glittery stars, the ribbon, which is glimmery, and then all of these papers that are different from what is in the scrapbooking kit. So we'll just see where we go with it. The papers here actually have like some card front pieces and a bunch of die cut pieces as well. So there's like the cauldron with the little bubble stuff, brooms. Yeah, I mean, you can see all the things. So I may or may not supplement my kit with any of these things, but they're really fun products. I will probably add some of these elements for sure. And like I said, the iridescent bags might be fun. So I'm just going to set those aside for now. And if you go, quite honestly, if you just wanted some layouts, Stampin' Up! Has, if you go to this product, which is actually 166494, on here it says 949, but it's actually 494. There is a link in the description where you can print off these 11 pages. And then you would end up with all of the measurements and directions as well. So you could kind of do your own thing too. Just saying, it's there. So I'm going to put this set of instructions away because those are the ones that apparently have the misprint. I don't know if they replaced any of the instructions in the kits that are being sold, after I purchased mine. So the colors that we use for this are pumpkin pie, gorgeous grape, granny apple green, pool party. We probably don't need the inks in here, but I may do some added blending, some ink blending. So I've got my brushes out here as well, because it basically says the only thing we need to add is some faux stitching with the Stampin' Right markers. So I've got both the Stampin' Right marker, or I've got the journaling pen that Stampin' Up! Sells now as a 3-pack, which gives you a nice fine line. So we'll see what I end up using. But this basically shows us the spreads. There are 3 2-page spreads. Hey, Fifi, how are you? Sorry I missed your Make It Monday. I don't know where my head was. And I remember looking at your email on Sunday. I'm pretty sure you sent it on Sunday. And I had made a card like that. So maybe that's why it just didn't really imprint in my brain. I don't know. But anyway, back to this. You get 3 2-page spreads. So you make 6 pages in this kit. And this kit is, let me look and see how much it is. I forgot. But it comes with absolutely everything you need. So the scrapbooking workshop kit is $28 plus shipping or tax and shipping, of course. Okay. And then it tells you what you need. So I can zoom in a little bit here, but then I'm going to try to remember to zoom out later because you'll want to see the spreads a little bit. So if I can have this up high enough, it shows you what you need. So you need the kit, of course. You need the Stampin' Right marker or a journaling pen, Stampin' Seal, or your adhesive of choice. I still like glue even when I'm doing my scrapbooking pages, your trimmer and your snips or other scissors. And then it also tells you for each project, let me just pull in my little ruler here. For each project, it tells you what size picture you need. All right. And they give you place cards or placeholders for your pictures too. So if you're not ready to put your pictures together right away, you can put a placeholder there so you kind of have a visual of what it's going to look like. So for project one, they're using 4 between these 2 pages, 4 pictures that are 4 by 4. Now, when I eventually put mine all together, I will probably use more than 4 pictures, just because to me that's a lot of empty space, or I could put a smaller inset picture or something. We'll see. All right. If there's a P in the column, that means it's a portrait picture. If there's an L, it means it's a landscape. And certainly you can adjust these however you want to fit whatever pictures you intend to use. So for project 2, it's telling me that we would need a 3 by 3. So we're looking at this. We'll need a 3 by 3. We need 2 4 by 4s, and then 2 that are 4 by 6 as portraits. So their layout has them up and down. And then for project 3, it's got 2 3 by 4s that are portrait. So that would be those 2. It's got 1 that's 4 by 6 as a portrait, and 1 that's 4 by 6 as a landscape. And then all of these other elements are part of the kit. Okay. So let's just start doing this kit. So the nice thing about this kit is, I mean, you can read all of these instructions. It just tells you, gather your materials, check the orientation on the guide, and let me go back out again. Whoops, not up. I want to go there. I think, oh, there we go. Sorry. That might work. All right. So, let's see. So it tells you to watch the orientation, keeping the patterns of your projects or your papers the way it shows on the instructions. So maybe if I zoom in on this one again, you can see here where it shows a certain pattern of paper, and you want to make sure that you don't have the books going the other way because it'll kind of mess up what the layout is. All right. So these other instructions then, light gray pieces on the cutting diagrams are what you'll need for the project. These white pieces are leftover. All right. You're not going to need them. And as you cut the paper, it's suggesting that you label and sort the pieces as indicated. So I'll go through that as we go. It suggests that you mat all your photos before assembly. I don't do it that way when I do my scrapbooking pages. I put the mats on the page. I put the placeholder or whatever, and then I put my pictures in when I'm ready. Yeah, the empty space, just to me, if I want to keep memories, I want to keep memories. I want to see the pictures because I want them off my phone and I want them somewhere where I can see them and enjoy them. And what I intend on doing with some of mine is, if I do a scrapbook with a lot of my granddaughter's things, like the month by month scrapbooking kit that we had recently, it's still available. So if you want that, it gives you 12 months of 2-page spreads. And every month you've got January, February, March. So I am planning on doing a whole year of her. So, September, she started back to school, and I intend to put some pictures in there, and hopefully I can keep up with it and just add things in there. But anyway, back to this. So it says to mat all your photos ahead of time. I don't worry about that. Use the black Stampin' Right markers to draw faux stitching on some of the pieces. We'll get to that. Cut green striped sticker in half. One piece will be used on project 1 and one will be used on project 2. So let's just find that sticker sheet and see what they're talking about. All right, so this must be the green striped sticker sheet. So we're going to end up cutting that in half. I'm just going to make a mental note of it. I'm not going to cut it right now because I don't want it to lose any adhesiveness on here. And then the black polka dotted one, it says we're going to cut in two also. One will be used for project one will be used for project three. And you probably can't see these instructions anyway. And so I'm gonna go back out here so you can see more of my page there. If that doesn't work, let me know and I can try to adjust that. Cut the purple star in half, again for project 1 and 3. We'll do those as we go. And then they recommend, unless otherwise noted, use the stamp and seal to adhere the pieces. So let me just show you these pages. So this is going to be a background sheet, of course. Now these are typically like the main pages are just going to be one-sided. All right. Then we've got some black with grid. We've got this specialty paper here that's got the two sides. And then we've got these stripes and the pool party page. And I'm flipping two of these at once so you can see both sides. The black stripes, which I love. And Granny Apple Green. These are like potion bubbles. We've got two-tone cardstock. So we've got the pumpkin pie. Yes, dark pumpkin pie, light pumpkin pie. The dark color is typically the color that's the true color. We have got basic black. So you can see where the darker color is the real black. And then this is more of a gray to me. We have Granny Apple Green. So you're getting a good look at the two-tone cardstock for this. And again, this is the true color and this is like a stamped off version. And then we have Gorgeous Grape. So dark and light. And then we have our Pool Party, dark and light. And then we have two pieces of white, I think just two pieces of white willow. And then we've got all of our placeholders for the pictures. All right. And I think I'm still zoomed in pretty far, huh? There we go. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome. You bought 3 packs just for the book paper. I know I've done that. And I know I have it here. I was looking with some of my other memory keeping stuff, but I know I have it because I thought that paper was just adorable. So here's all the placeholders for the pictures: 3x3s, 3x4s, 4x4s, 4x6s. The first projects I did with this, I did not use the placeholders because I thought, well, there's a mat there. I know a picture goes there. But then as I did more of them, I thought, well, they're in here. I put them in there and it actually just gave me a better visual of what the page was going to look like. I don't know why my brain processed that way, but that's how it processed. So I'll keep those. And then we've got this whole sheet of stickers. So there's all kinds of little words here that are already cut, depending on where we're going to put them. This Halloween is all one piece, the potions, the labels, the spiders. So these are all die cut already for what we need. So there's not, for the kit, if you make it as it's intended, there's not going to be any stamping. All right. So let's go back now. And then it all comes to in this nice big bag. And I'm hanging on to those because if I finish my pages and if I don't have a book to put them in just yet, I want to keep them somewhere where they're protected. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So first off, we need that potions page. And we need both sheets of that. So let me find that, or not the potions, the books. All right. And then I'm going to set all the rest of this out of the way. And hopefully I won't have an avalanche anywhere. I guess I can get rid of my other work note too. My to-do list. All right. So now with these instructions, I'm going to zoom this in again. And you can see here where this little scissor mark is. That is the cut that you need to do first on all of the instructions. Okay. So I'm going to actually get a new blade for my trimmer because I want to make sure I have some nice cuts. And both of my trimmers have been a little frayed lately. So I'm just going to go ahead. And if you've never changed the blade in your trimmer, when it comes, the cutting blade is up on top and the scoring blade is below. And I take mine out because I like my scoring blade on top. And you can't see that right now. All right. And then there's a little notch down here. So there's a notch down here where these tabs go in. Now you can maybe see how worn out the edges of my piece are. Yep, I'm pulling on a new blade. It's going to be very sharp. All right, so my old blades, I just pop in here. Like this one, I put a piece of washi tape under it or over it so that I just know at a glance. So I will do that later, but here is a brand new blade. Now, when I do my blades, I usually cut from the bottom to the top, and then I bring my blade back down to the bottom. So I'm always cutting forward. So I'm always cutting on the front of the blade. So when I start getting less than nice cuts, I take my blade out and I just turn it around. All right. Now there is an arrow on the blade, which I never even really realized until just now. In the light, I noticed it. There's a little hair here. I don't know where that came from because I don't have any pets. Anyway, so you do that too, Bonnie. It's just for me, it works better. You know, then I'm giving equal time to the blades, just one side at a time. It seems like the blades last that, longer that way, but I know it's just in my head. So when we put this in, I want to put these notches so that they're just going to catch in those little slots and then it stays in there. Now, some people complain, they're like, oh, my blade's falling out or my scoring blade is falling out. That's because those tabs on there have worn out so much that it's coming out of the slot there. All right. So let me just put those blades in the garbage. All right. So you are not going to be able to see all of my instructions unless you print them off from the website. All right. So, excuse me. So the orientation here, let me see. Oh, one other thing I need to tell you then. When you're cutting, if there's a star, that indicates it's the back of the paper that we're going to use. All right. So when we cut, this says it's for project 2A, and this one says it's for 1A star. So I'm going to flip that paper over. All right. So let's go ahead and cut this out at 3 inches. And let's just see. I want to try to make it so you can see what I'm doing. And again, we'll just see how far we get because I'm sure I'm not going to make it through 6 pages. All right, so we're going to do 3 by 12 and we are going to label this with a pencil. And basically what I do, this is going to be this piece here. There's no star, so I'm using the front. And on the back, I'm going to mark this as 2A because it tells me it's for project 2A. And then I'm going to set this over in a pile that's for set 2. So I'm going to have 3 piles for set 1, set 2, set 3. Okay, pretty basic if I'm explaining it all right. All right. And then this piece, we're going to cut it 9 by 9. So that's going to be a square. All right. So, whoops, back to the piece that I was already cutting. So here, I'm just going to turn it and we could just cut off 3 inches or I could extend the arm. Either way. So it says 9 by 9. But since it's originally 12 by 12, just cutting off the 3 works. All right, so now this piece is extra. You can use that for some other project. And then this piece, we're using this side because of the star. All right. So here I'm going to mark that this is for 1A. And I need to mark it where I can see it. So this is 1A. Okay. So that's going to go in pile 1. All right. And then our other piece, we're going to cut that again the same way. So 3 by 12. So these pages are probably going to be kind of symmetrical. And then this is going to be 9 by 9. And it shouldn't really matter if you cut off the top or cut off the bottom. You're cutting off books either way. This again is extra. So I'm just going to set that down off to the side. So this one, there's no stars. So I'm going to mark this as 2F. And I'm going to put that in pile number 2. And it's up to you if you want to keep them in order, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F. And then this one, we need to use the flip side. So this is going to be the side that's going to show. So I'm going to mark this as 1F. And I'm going to put that in pile number 1. So we're done with this cutting. All right, now we need the Gorgeous Grape two-tone cardstock. And we just need 1 page. So how this works is we will cut everything first. And then we'll start putting together, because if you wanted to try to find all of the pieces that you need for layout number 1, you're going to have to go through every single piece, and here's a piece that you need for project 1. So that's going to be like in the middle of here. So you really, there's not a more efficient way to do it than to cut everything all at once. Okay. And I'm just seeing if we can go out a little bit more there. Okay. So here, our first cut, our only cut on this one, is going to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So we're going to go 4 1/4. And yep, I've got it on the dark side. So we've got 4 1/4. This piece is extra. All right, so we're going to have a lot of extra pieces. So when you think of the overall cost of the project, it might seem like, you know, the $32 or however much it was, 28, I don't even remember now what it was. 28. So it might seem like that's kind of a lot for 6 pages to do, but you're getting everything you need. All right, and then you'll have lots of extra. All right, and then this piece, we're going to cut, well, we need to go 6 1/4 here. So I'm going to go 6 1/4 is right there. So this is for 3C. And I need the dark page here because there's no star there. So that's part of project 3. And then this piece, we just need to cut a piece that's 3 by 3. And there's a star here, so we're using the light side. So I'm just going to go 3 by 3. And then these other pieces, again, are extra. All right, so this is for 1G. So I'm going to write on the dark side because the light side is what we're going to use. We'll see. I may end up using the dark side because sometimes I like the dark side better. And then I can just erase my markings. So maybe I should mark a little bit lighter. All right, so 1G. So now I need the pumpkin pie. And this obviously is the putziest part of the whole project. So my first cut is going to be at 4 1/4. And then I've got another one that's 4 1/4. If I go across to here, so I'll just do that since I'm doing 4 1/4s. And then this other piece will end up cutting a little bit off. So now I need to go 6 1/4, 6 1/4. I always have to watch really close because the quarter mark is where the dark shading is on here. So I need 6 1/4, and then 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then this one's going to be 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. So there's 3 1/4 and by 1 1/4. And I always put it on, let me move this out a little bit. I always, if it's less than 1.5 inches, I try to put it over here just because it seems to work better for me. So that one is 1 1/4. All right, so this is extra. I'm just going to get rid of that and that one. All right, so this piece here, so I'm looking at these 3 pieces here. This one is for project 2B. So I need the dark side because there's no star. So I'm going to put 2B on that side. The 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 is 2I. And then this one, there's a star on here. So it wants me to use the light side. So I'm going to put 2M on the dark side. All right. And then I will put these in my project 2 pile. And then let's go to the next column that was 4 1/4. We're going to do another one that's 6 1/4. Must be right there. I hope I didn't cut the other one too short. It's not going to be that big a deal anyway. All right, so there's 6 1/4. Another one that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then this is extra. Okay. And then both of these are going to be the dark side up because there's no stars. So this one is 2C and this one is 2H. I'm going to put those in pile number 2. Now I am not sorting my A, B, C, D as I go because I'm going to have too many pieces. All right. So this piece now, hopefully you can see that there's an edge here that we're going to end up not using. So the widest piece is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to go 3 1/4. And this is extra. It's a nice strip, so you might want to hang on to that as kind of a border piece. And then we're going to go 3 1/4. And then that is piece 2G with no star. So the dark side is the side I need up. And then we're going to go 3 by 3 1/2. So we're going to cut this down to 3 inches. Now I could have just turned it and cut the 3 inches and then cut down the 3 1/2, but I'm trying to keep them all going in the same orientation so I don't mess myself up. So this one's going to be 3 1/2. So that's 3M. It wants a star, so the light side's going to be up, so I'm going to mark the dark side as 3M. And then we've got a piece that's 3 by 3. So this is 3 by 3. And that's using the light side also. So I'm going to mark my 3E on the dark side. And then we have 3 pieces that are 3 by 1/2 inch. So here's our 3. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then this is extra. So I'm just putting that off to the side in my extra pile. Now, all of these do not have a star. So I'm going to write on the light side, project 3F, 3O, and 3S. And then I will put these in pile 2 and 3. And now we are going to get this stripy piece. It's an official term for it, right? And the orientation is so that the stripes go sideways. Excuse me. So you should be able to see that with my sample here. So we're going to make those go the same way. This first cut is this narrow piece that is 1/2 inch by 12. So I'm going to go over and use this side of my trimming track and just make sure I'm at 1/2 inch. And the paper is already 12. So I am going to mark this. There's no star, so this is the side we're going to use, and I'm going to mark that 3J. And then we have a piece that's 6 by 12. Same orientation. And that I'm going to be using this side. So I'm going to mark 3I on that one. And then we have a piece that is 1 inch by 2.5. So let's do the 1 inch. Let's see, I'm just going to have to move it over here because I need to keep it flatter. Otherwise, it's going off the edge of my trimmer and I might not get it straight. All right, so 1 inch. And this is extra because this piece here is white. So that's another extra piece. That'll make fun card material. And then here we have to go 2.5. And that is going to be piece 2K. There is no star. So this is going to be the side we're using. Then we have a piece that's 1/2 inch wide. So let's cut this in half. Got to go out to the shops to get some prep dinners. Oh no, you have a cast. I am sorry to hear that, Nicole. All right, enjoy your shopping, prepping. Take care of that hand. All right. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for popping in, Nicole. All right, so we're here at 1/2 inch. This piece is going to be extra. And we're going to go here to 2.5 inches. It's a shame Sala didn't pop in. I think Sala was the one that asked if I did scrapbooking stuff. So we're going to use 3G. Make sure that looks like a G. Sala, I was just talking about you. I literally just said your name, that it was a shame you weren't here because I thought you had asked me about doing scrapbooking. And I am doing the Halloween Memories scrapbook. No, it wasn't you? Okay, I wonder who it was. All right, so that was 3G. So this one's done. You know, I should probably check these off when I'm done in case I get distracted from talking. So this is going to be 2.5 inches. And that does not have a star, so we're using this side for the design. So I'm going to put 3 in on the back. I must have felt you were coming on or something. So we did that one. And then this is going to be 2.5 inches. And there is no star there, so we're using this side for our project. So I'm going to put 3R on the back. And again, you can see this is the piece from down here that's extra. All right. and that's probably not going to get used anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and sort these all. So this is 3, 3, 3, project 3, and then one little piece for project 2. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 2. So that's everything. So I will put those in the appropriate piles. And then we'll go on to this black and white striped piece. There we go. And the orientation again is sideways. Oh my goodness. That's funny, Sala. No, I didn't say I could smell that you were coming. I said I could sense, not necessarily one of my normal senses. It's my sixth sense. So, alrighty. So here we are going to do our first cut at 5 inches, right? No, 7. We're going to do it 7 inches. Well, it wouldn't matter because 7 and 5 is 12. So let's do this at 7. I'm watching my orientation here. Oh, Sal, I'm sorry you missed it just as I was saying goodbye. Yeah, I made that baby card last night. Yeah, and I need to rework it a little bit because the gal that I'm making it for wanted just a couple little minor changes. So I have not glued that one together yet. And Salo, were you the one that wanted me to put the measurements for that triple like fold out card that I made, I don't know, last week-ish? Might have been the week before. If it is, I still have the pieces. I'll still get it done. I have it laid out. I just haven't sat down at my computer long enough to do some of those things. All right, so we've got the 7 inches here. We're going to cut this now at 5 inches. It's good to have a sense of humor. All right, so there's the 5. So this is going to be marked 3B. There's no star. So this is the side we're going to use. So 3B. And then we're just going to start cutting over from here. So this is 1 inch by 4 1/4. So I have to go back to the orientation that's required here. So I'm going to do 1 inch and 4 1/4. I will get it done, I promise. I have grand plans, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow. So let's just start checking these off because I should get into that habit. So this is 2J. There's no star, so we're going to be using the striped side. Yes, stripe. Whew. 2J. And I suppose it really wouldn't matter that much if we change the orientation. Who's going to know but us, right? And then this one should be 2 3/4. And it looks like I've got just a little extra. So our page must have been just a little bigger than 12 by 12. Let's see. No, it shows 12 by 12. I wonder if I cut something a little off. Did I do this at 4 1/4? I did. Who knows? All right, so 4 1/4. Maybe I did this one not quite at 5. Nope, that's on there too. All right. Anyway, we'll get by it. 1 by 2 3/4. So I'm just going to trim. I'm going to trim just a little bit off of each side because I think I want this border to be even. So I'm just going to trim this off here. So I've got just a little white edge on each, and let's see how close that is. Yeah, 2 3/4. All right. So let's clean up my track here. One of my pieces of paper stuck in there, and we'll get rid of those. All right. Which card sketches am I using today? This is actually a scrapbooking kit. That's the Halloween Memories kit. It comes with everything you need for 3 2-page spreads. And I kind of went through the highlights with what you need, what size pictures it's designed for, and how to use the cutting diagram. So we are on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on the 6th cutting page. Okay. So if you haven't seen how the Stampin' Up! Scrapbooking kits work, at least you can see it even if you don't care for this particular one. They're all designed basically to work the same way. All right, so this piece, we're going to be using the front side. There's no star, so this is 2D. All right, now we're going to go over here and we're going to cut another. This is my extra piece, so let me get out of the way. So here, this is what I'm working with here, is this piece here. So I'm going to cut another piece that's 1 inch wide. And we're going to do 4 1/4 again. And this is going to be 1J. And then we've got 2 pieces that are going to be that 2 1/2. And if we do, I'm going to cut the white off of here. Maybe I'm going to cut the white. That doesn't want to come out of my track. You always want to make sure you get the dust and the extra papers out of your track because it does affect how well the blade cuts. All right. So let's try that again. I'm going to get down to 2 1/2. There we go. And I'm just trying to make it so it's kind of symmetrical. I'm a little OCD that way. All right. So cut this in half then because those each need to be 1/2 inch. And we're going to use the back sides because there's stars here. So one is going to be for 2L and one is going to be for 1K. Now they both have the star, which means we're using the back side. All right. So we've got both of those. And then I'm back to this one. So we need another strip that's 1 inch wide. And we need it 3 inches. And this one we need the back side because there's a T on it. So we're going to use this side. So I'm going to put the page there. And then we have a 1x3. And that we're also using this side because there's a star. So I'm going to mark this as 2E. And that's marked. And then we have 1/2 by 3. So this one, we're going to go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. This is extra, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm just going to cut these 1/2 inches all right away. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And then this is extra. And then these top ones are all going to be the striped side. So we're going to do by 3 inches. I wonder if I can just cut those all at once. We'll see. Line them up. I probably could have cut the 3 inches and cut half, 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 but all right. So this is going to be 3P, 3U, and 1D. And then these other pieces need to be 3 inches long as well. So we'll cut those down to 3 inches. And these are extra pieces. Now you could save them for something, but I'm going to recycle them. I'll lose them. It won't make any sense for me to keep them. All right, so these 3 we're going to be using the back sides. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the projects on here. So 3Q, 1E, and 3H. All right, so all 3 of those are done. So let me just, yeah, marking the pieces is really important. And the instructions do tell you to do that. And Karen Pedersen came over to Stampin' Up! From Close to My Heart, and Close to My Heart does a lot of memory keeping, is my understanding. I never ordered from Close to My Heart, so I don't know what their product line really was. But she is like their Stampin' Up! Guru, and Stampin' Up! Brought her on board. So she has done some videos, tutorials, and she's the one that made me aware that that's the way to do it. And then when I finally got the kit, it's like, oh, it's on there. So I'm just going to sort these by 1, 2, and 3. So you will probably not be able to see that very well. 2. And I could have sorted these in piles as I went, but there's just not enough space on my table here. So 2, 2, and 3. All right, so I will go put these on the appropriate piles. So I have 3 piles on the floor behind me. All right, so we're done with this one. Phew. So you can see why I think that, we probably won't get the whole way through here. So now we're going to use the black 2-tone cardstock. And we're going to cut this first one. I'm at 4 1/4. And then we're doing 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and then 3 1/4. And this little smidgen is the part down here that we're not going to use. So that's going to go in my extra pile. All right, so 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. What did I, 4 1/4. I cut something wrong. Leave it to Lori. I probably had the wrong piece. So that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That one's fine. It's probably going to be, oh, Fifi, thanks for popping in. And then this one is 4 1/4. I accidentally cut that down to 4. And I don't think, let me see if I've got some, oh, I can cut it out of this. This will be extra anyway. So this one is fine. I messed up this one by a little bit. This one should be 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So that's fine. All right, so this one is going to be 1B. This one's going to be 3L. And this one I still need, so I'm just going to put a little circle there. And then we've got another 4 1/4. And then we need 4 1/4. I was just not paying attention. So this is going to be 1C. There's no star, so it's going with the dark side up. So 3, 3, 3. And this is going to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And that, again, we're using the dark side. So this is going to be 1I. So that one's done. And then this piece is not going to be used. So, and this is extra, and this is extra. So now we need the other piece of black. And we need a piece that's 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And that we're using the dark side, so I'm going to mark the project on the light side. And then now I can take this piece and make it a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So there's my 4 1/4, 4 1/4. All right, piece of cake. So that's good. And this is 1H. So these are all, none of these have the star. So we're using the dark side on all of them. All right, so this is project 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And then that's done. So I should have 6 pieces. 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then we need the white willow. Usually they have white willow as a back piece. We need 6 by 7 1/4. Oh, 7 1/2. Good thing I looked at that again. And that's going to be for project 3A. And then we need 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And that's 3D. And then all of these pieces are extra. I didn't cut mine in the same orientation, but it doesn't really matter because all the rest of that is extra. So those will go in my project 3 pile. I'd like to get everything cut, and then yeah, you have to really cut everything ahead of time, because if you looked at, let me just check those off. If you looked at one of these prior pages where we've got all these little pieces, if I was trying to pull out all the pieces for project 1, I would have a piece here. I'd have a piece here. I'd have a piece here. Those are all 2s and 3s. So it's kind of, they're designed so that you cut your paper as efficiently as possible. I would need this piece here and this piece here. So doing the cutting first is essential. Okay. But once you get it all cut out, then you're pretty well done. All right. Woo, I guess that's the cutting. Let's see if I got everything. It seems like there should be more cutting because we have lots of other paper. So we did both of those. We did that. We did that, or we're just going to have a lot of extra paper. Looks good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my trimmer away and just see if we need it. All right. So we are going to just take a look at this for a second. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So here it's telling me this is project 1 for the left page. All right. And it's just showing me what the layout is and what mats I'm going to use. Okay. On this one, then, the bottom picture that's kind of grayed out. So I think you can see where this is vibrant and this one's grayed out. This one's grayed out. This one gives you all of the measurements, like how far in from the side or from the top everything is. I typically don't use these. I typically just eyeball it and lay it out how I want. Okay. So I'm going to put you back out here again. And we are going to get this piece of designer series paper. Now, the thing with these kits is that Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, I need this web piece. I'm like, why don't I have that? Okay, so I need this web piece. All right. And I need all of my pieces for project 1. So I'm going to pull those up. Yeah, and for me, I might not, how they have it laid out might not just be balanced for me. Maybe it's my left-handedness. Maybe it's just that I don't like to follow directions. The cutting the pieces, I will definitely follow the instructions. But as far as, this layout here, I can watch this and figure it out. All right. But coming here, I'll eyeball it. It's close enough for me. So let me get all the pieces for project 1. So this is everything I cut that we marked a 1 on is what I have here. Okay. So what I can do then is I could put them all in alphabetical order because we've got B, C, H, I, G, K, D. That's a lot of going around. Do I really need to do this? I don't know. J, K. And then we've got 1A and 1F. So I did all of my marking again on the back sides. So you can see from this picture here, we're using this side. All right. So this one, let's see, we need, this will tell me I need 1A, which is the back side. So here's 1A. We're going to use this. Excuse me. I'm just going to slide all these over. You might not be able to see all my little pieces, but it won't matter. So this is going to go here, and that's going to be nice and centered. Okay. So it says adhere this to the spider web page. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to use some of, yeah, definitely overlap those. For this page, because it's centered as kind of our background, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and put this down. And because these will go in memory keepers later, I don't worry about getting a ton of adhesive on this because they're not going to go anywhere. All right. So we will eyeball that. I could measure 1.25 inches all the way around, or 1.5 inches. I'm not going to. All right. I'm not. All right. So that's on there. All right. And then it says to angle cut 1D, 1E, and 1 piece of the black sticker. So now I need my sticker sheet. But I have to find out what I did with my sticker sheet. There it is. All right, so we need 1 piece of black sticker, then adhere to the base. All right, so this one, I'm going to turn these over because it's telling me to angle cut those. And then I'm using a part of this. Now, the original instructions said that these were going to get cut in half. I'm not going to cut it in half because I may be able to use a bigger piece of that for something else. So I'm just going to kind of take my snips here. And yeah, I like the idea of tilting the pictures too. I didn't notice that before. And I'm just going to cut this off there. All right. And we will angle cut this. Now, the way I cut it, there's just a little ridge of the paper from the cutting blade. I'm just going to use my fingernail to flatten that out a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm Just angle cut that. It doesn't have to be special. And then, oh, here's my other piece. And they've got that one going up the opposite way. All right, so this one's going to come here. This one will go there. So let's just kind of stick those two together. And then this one's going to come up here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape on here. I mean, seal, not tear and tape. And put a little bit more seal on there. And plop that little puppy down. And I kind of like it hanging over the page. They don't have it hanging over the page, but I don't really care. All right, so then we need, it wants us to draw faux stitching around 1A. Okay. So it's got, it must be just inside the border. So it looks like it's sewn. I don't usually put the borders on here, but it's kind of fun. Gives it a fun little look. And I probably could have used the journaling pen. And I'm not going to use a ruler at all to make sure they're super straight, because if you're sewing by hand, I don't know about you, but my stitches are never exactly straight. I mean, even when I use my sewing machine, sometimes they're not straight. So I go a little wobbly. And I'm going to come this way. So I feel like I can go a little faster. And hopefully my phone doesn't run out of battery. If my mic stops picking up too, let me know and I'll trade mics. I charged them, but I don't know how long they'll last. Yeah, sometimes it is that extra something. Hello, what is this? Hi, Young. Is it Young or Young? Welcome. You are a new name on here. Where are you tuning in from? But Sally, yeah, it does give it that little something extra. And I've seen, you know, cards where they do the little outline just as a hand-drawn border on a card, and I think, oh, that is so cute. And then I don't do it. I should. So you're from Australia too as well. All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for popping in. Did I just show up on your feed, or were you searching for something in particular? This is a scrapbook kit from Stampin' Up. I am in the United States, so you can probably tell by my voice that I'm not from Australia. I'm just going to lift those up a little bit so I can make that stitch so it doesn't look like it's not supposed to be there. And then I probably could have done all of that beforehand if I had read the instructions. But again, you know, who reads all the instructions, right? We'll just put this all the way across, so if somebody's peeking at it, it'll look finished. All right, so let's see what's next. All right, so We are looking at angle cut, draw the faux stitching. Oh, well, I guess I did it in the right order because it says to angle cut those and the one piece of the black sticker and then adhere them to the base page and then draw the faux stitching. They just had theirs in, so they actually show the faux stitching on the top of there too. Well, let's do that. We'll make it look like those are sewn on. What do you know? All right. And then adhere prepared 1B and 1C. So here's 1B and 1C. So I'm not going to put these on just yet. I'm going to lay them out and see where we want them, because I'm thinking I might want something like this. And then the placeholders, we don't actually have, sure we do. We have a placeholder for there. Yeah, the squiggly lines would be fun too. All right, and there's a placeholder for there. Now, there are stickers that are going to go on here like this October 31st. And I don't really want to put that down yet because I want to be able to put my picture in there. So I am going to cut this out and lay it on my page, just so we can get an idea of where it's going to go. So if we put that somewhere over here, and then we've got this You Cast a Spell on Me page, or circle sticker. So I'm going to cut that out also. And I'm cutting around the printed border, not where the sticker actually comes from. I'm not cutting right up to the sticker edge is what I mean to say. Yes, the So Spooky. All right, so this they've got down here somewhere. And then they've got the potions. And obviously these will look a little nicer when I actually pull the stickers off. But I'll kind of fussy cuss them. Are you happy, Juju? A little fussy cutting going on. Kind of. Loosely fussy cut. All right, so this will go down here somewhere. And then we have this purple sticker. I think it's interesting that there is no stamping on this. So this is going to go here. Ish. Hope they actually have it this way. And then we need some Halloween fun. 3 continents covered. I hadn't even considered that. Cool. We're very international here. All right. So this they've got here. And then the green stripey. So let's just kind of measure. They said to cut it in half, but that green stripe piece is about 4 1/4. I'm just going to cut it to 5-ish, I think. I could probably slide that in my trimmer and do it faster, but oh well. So I do have some Halloween pictures of my granddaughter and my bonus grandson printed. I just don't know exactly where they are right now. All right, so let's straighten this out again. So this will come here. And it looks like they had all of this off the page, so I'm just going to lay that out there, and I probably won't leave it where it is. And then they have the Halloween fun tucked underneath, but I think I kind of like it on top instead. So I'll probably have this kind of centered with that picture framing. And I think it's fun that it doesn't really matter what the colors in the scrapbooking page are. It doesn't necessarily have to coordinate with the colors in your pictures, although sometimes it does, of course. All right, so that's that. So then I just need the So Spooky, I think. Save the best for last. Because there's stars too. All right, so here's one of the stars. They actually looked like flowers on the sticker page, but they're stars. So I'm just gonna cut along the border and make them look a little bit more like stars. All right, so they've got one over here-ish. And this would be a good place for me to use those star embellishments. So these are the shimmer star foam stickers. You could put a bunch of those on there because I'll have lots. But they're not real thick, but they're very squishy. So those would be fun on here too. And there's another star. So there's a star on each side of those banner strips. So let's find another one here. Just kind of fussy cut this a little bit so it looks a little bit more like a star again. So you can have a better visual of what it's going to look like. So it's not easy to finish the page without the pictures, right? So especially when they're stickers. I mean, if it's just the placeholders, you can leave a corner up, of course. But it is probably better to have your pictures ready to go. But like with the month by month scrapbooking kit that I've got, I think that was July or August. I don't remember when we did it. What I plan on doing is going like from September through August and doing kind of like a fiscal year that would start with her first day in, second grade. So I wouldn't be doing that one January to February. Okay. So let's finish So Spooky here. And then I think I have all of the elements now. Do not use adhesive along the top of 1B. Oh, so it's telling me not to use adhesive along the top of 1B and 1C. The bottom of 1C because the stickers have to go on there. And some of the stickers they say are going to go behind. But these stickers look like they're all on top. So I'll put the stickers wherever I want, right? All right, and I don't want to lose this extra piece because there is a little spider on it. So we're almost done with page 1. All right, so That's going to look like it belongs there later. All right, so I'm going to save that little spider so I don't lose him. All right, so that is our left page of spread 1. So hopefully you can see that. And again, I think I would still like maybe even put this up here and have another picture matted down here. Yes. Sometimes she voluntold me to fussy cuss. All right, so I think I will probably add another picture down here. Um, or maybe like a candy wrapper or something. I don't know, but I think to me it needs more than the 2 pictures. So here's their version and here's something close to what we will end up with. All right. So let's go ahead and do the right page. So we're going to get another, I'm going to set this one off to the side so it doesn't get too messed up until I can attach everything. So we're going to get that web page again. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the stitching on it right now. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like mine better. It's just all how you want to make it look, you know? Make it yours. When I have people here for classes and, you know, they might be looking at my sample and I said, do whatever you want. It's your card. You don't like where I have it placed, do it somewhere else. So the other thing with some of these pages that would be fun, this one maybe not so much, although we could do it here. We could do some ink blending with maybe the Gorgeous Grape under where that orange starred piece is going to be, that pumpkin pie piece, because I think that would be kind of fun. I got a little heavy-handed on that corner stitch there, but it's okay. I figure I can probably cover it up with something if it looks funny. Should have a roller or something that's got stitches on it, but then they would look too perfect, right? It wouldn't look like hand stitching. I've never really done a lot of scrapbooking. My mom did quite a bit. And she would go get all the little puffy stickers and all the little hokey things. Um, she did pages for me and found firefighting stuff and EMT stuff. And it's fun to kind of look back and see the things that she thought were worth memorializing, you know. And I figure that's what this is going to kind of be too. I wonder if they've intentionally not overlapped the images to make the pages easier to put together. Sometimes, yes, depending on how the flow of the items on the page are, you mean? Because you do want some balance. And if we go back to the first page, here's how they have them. So to me, it's not like they're symmetrical because then like this picture would be down and that one would be up. So these are just kind of what the designers tell us, the concept artists or whoever it is that does these. They design them so that the eye kind of travels from one page to the next. Yeah, my mom was quite the little crafter. She did scrapbooks for her grandkids too. And I have most of those here because the mother, my sister of some of the grandkids, um, kind of cut them off from even seeing the kids. So that's really hard. We only have contact with one of my nieces now, and that's kind of sad, you know. So anyway, we have those, and I do have some of those memories. So let's take a look at here. We need, let me move these sticker pieces out of the way. We need this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down right away because we know that's what they're going to tell me to do. It is tough. They're one of my nieces I've never met in person. And my nephew, who is the third born, the niece that we do have contact with, I'll back up just a second. She's the oldest. We have contact with her, and she has children now as well. So we'll be actually seeing her and her family on Saturday for a birthday party for my great nephew. So we see her, and then the next one in line is considerably younger. So she's still in high school. And then the third one is the boy, and I've only seen him a couple of times. And then the youngest one I've never seen other than pictures. So, you know, but that's why we have friends, right? They're the family we can pick for ourselves. So I can't change it when, yeah, when people are, you know, bipolar, or if they've been, I don't know, opinionated about certain things, there's not a whole lot you can do. So let's go ahead with these pieces now. We've got H, and I think I'm just going to slide this a little bit that way. So we've got one H, which is this one, so that they've got a little over the page. One I, they've got centered there. Placeholders. So we've got there and there. And then we have this piece, which is going to go here. So they must have this up a little bit more, or maybe tucked under the picture, maybe that way. So part of this light gorgeous grape, because we're using the light side, that's for some journaling. And I would suggest doing your journaling before you adhere that down. So Sally, you've got family in 2 countries. So where's the rest of your family if they're not in Finland with you? Okay. Oh, wow. Nice that you could reconnect with a cousin. That's very cool. All right, so let's find our little monster sticker here. I like it that they have these stickers. The scrapbooking kit that we did, now that one, it's really expensive. That was $250 US. My family on my mother's side is from Sweden. We're from Sweden. So I am mostly Swedish, actually. So that will go somewhere around there. And then we've got this piece. Okay, so 1J, that's going to go like this. We're going to have a little bit of this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that to match my striped piece here, so that they're the same length. Yeah, I've got some cousins that I have not seen, boy, since like the 80s, because they're out in California where my mother was born. And the last time I would have seen them would have been like in 1984, when I went out with my mother when my grandmother passed away. All right, so this is going to go something like this. Family, you have theirs from your mother's side too. Oh, that is so cool that you were actually able to meet yesterday. That's fun. And I take it the meeting went well, that it was a fun gathering. All right, so then we have 1K. Oh, I think I wrote that on the wrong side. So I'm just going to erase my 1K here. Either that or the instructions might have been wrong, right? We could blame the instructions. All right, so part of that's not erasing very well, but I'll put something on top there, like a little star or something. So that goes there, and then we have another strip. Oops, that goes there. Then we have another strip of this polka dot section. See, sometimes it just kind of amazes me that, even though we live in very different areas, our lives are really not all that different, are they? Family issues, and I'm going to cut this other sticker close in size to this green piece. Now, what I don't understand is why these pieces here, blame the instructions. And there's this little spider that's not going to go on this page. I don't understand, for me, why these pieces here are not angle cut like they were on the first page. So on the left spread, they angle cut those, but on this side they didn't. So guess what? I'm angle cutting mine because I like how that looks better. All right, so let's finish getting this black polka dot piece. And again, I'm just cutting off of here what I need, because then that'll leave me a bigger piece that I can use as extra. So that'll be there. And then this, I'm going to go like this. And we'll kind of do one of these. And I'll put the black sticker on top of the green one, which I think is actually going to go under the purple one. And I might want it to cover that corner so that it doesn't look like I have a random corner sticking out there. All right, so then I need the spider goes, hopefully you can see that. The little spider is going to go over here. So we'll just get him trimmed down a little bit. And I could actually, why don't I just stick him on there? No, because he might be bigger. No, it'll be fine. That can go there. And then I can get rid of that debris. And then we need a couple of stars. So there's one star that's going to go there. Another star that's going to go over here. And then we also have words. Wicked fun and spooky season. So those I'm going to wait on, because if I cut them out of here, I have to cut them exact. I wonder if I can do a good job at that or not. I might be able to handle it. Oh, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I'm almost done. almost. I can always trim some of these edges too of the stickers if I snip them too far. All right, so let's just get these trimmed down to size. That is a cute little spider. And then we'll cut this apart. And I suppose you could use different sayings if you wanted, but I'm just going to kind of go with what they have here. So this is going to be wicked fun and spooky season. I'm going to, we can actually put these stars down because they're not going anywhere. Okay. So this is page 2 now. It kind of shows more journaling space. So I will probably be inclined to move that up a little bit more. And then put that kind of on the edge of the picture there. So there's that page. I think I have everything. It looks like it. Picture, striped saying, journaling, flag, spider. Yeah, it looks like we got everything on here. All right. So let me just get these things out of the way. And I'm going to pull in the left side. And I think what I want to do is, let me scooch this over here. Hopefully we can get most of the layouts together here. So here's our layout. And I think what I will probably do is maybe use my alcohol blend. Let me see if I can scooch this up a little bit. You kind of get the idea. I don't have wide lens. Let me just maybe overlap these a little bit so you can see a little bit better. You can kind of see where those will flow together. I may use a blending brush and add a little bit of probably the Gorgeous Grape and maybe even some of that Granny Apple Green and just highlight some areas on the webbing. Now what I'll need to do is, mask over where I've got this paper because I don't want that color necessarily on the pumpkin pie piece. But then I can also take, before I put my pictures on, I can take my alcohol blends and flick color on these as well to kind of just give them a little added personality. And then if I add some of those foam, what are they called? Shimmer Star Foam stickers. Those would be fun too. So in fact, let's go ahead and put a couple of these stars down. You might not be able to see that. And I'm going to go ahead and put the October 31st down because I like it better over here. And in fact, if I put it up here, no, we'll go right at the end of the orange. I think that'll be fine. Because I was thinking if I moved it up a little bit, I could put stitching across there like that was sewn on too, but all right. What else? So if I put some of these on, I think that would be fun. And then if I use some of the paint splatter or the stenciling, that could probably work, huh? Because there are dies. Oh, I could cut out some bats. And the other thing that I could do is instead of adhering like this all the way, oh, that could be fun. I could make this bat tag. Let me see if I can find here. So this die here makes this tag. And I could put this on a journaling sheet. And if I leave this not glued, I could put some journaling cards in there and have it pull out. And when I put my memory or my page protector, when I put these in the page protector, I don't know if you've ever had interactive things on your memory keeping pages where, like, if I wanted to have a journaling sheet or more pictures coming out of here, if I put this page in my page protector and mark where that line is going to be, then when I put protection in there, of course, but then I will slice a line on my page protector so that this piece would be accessible from outside the page protector. So you could go up and down with that interactive piece. I'm going to do that and I'm going to show you that. I think this will be a continuing project, so I'll work on this again tomorrow. I'll try to find some of the pictures so I can put the pictures in here and we can actually get this stuff attached. But we could I could cut out the fence. We could put some fencing on here. There's a haunted house here. And what I think Riley might have taken those pictures. But even if we put some of these little critters on here from either the paper or from these die cuts, whoops. So we could have a little queen there, the mummy wrapped hippo. There's a lot of different things we could add on here to even make it more fun. But I could use some of these as in the journaling pieces on here. There's plenty we could do. I wouldn't use these necessarily for this page, but there's a lot that we could add on to this to dress it up a little bit. So that's all I'm going to be doing tonight. All right. You're going to be taking the weekend off, so you'll see me on Sunday night. Awesome. So by like tomorrow's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe when we pop on, maybe I can show the finished pages because this will be 3 2-page spreads. So tomorrow I'll do another spread, and then Saturday night I'll do that third set, probably unless something else really trips my trigger. But then I'll show you what we got going on. So thank you everybody for popping in. And hopefully you have a good flavor of what these Stampin' Up! Scrapbooking kits are, the memory keeping kits. They're pretty fun. I think they're designed very efficiently to make them easy for people that don't scrapbook a lot. Like, I would not have come up with this design on my own, but because it's this kit, it made it really easy for me. Now I've done some scrapbooking, and I don't know if I've shown you some of those pages before. But if you want to see them sometime, I can pull those in when we're doing more scrapbooking stuff. But these are really fun. Isn't that bat tab great? I love that. That would probably work on some of your junk journals, huh? Maybe I should cut out a few of these and send them to you, huh? Because I still have to send you a thank you card. Oh, I wanted to ask you too, Juju. Did you sign up for, or did you opt in for Stampin' Rewards so that you get money off any future purchases? Yep. Oh, good. Very good. Or are you saying, yep, I should send you some of these? Because I'll send you some of those. And then you'll fall in love with them, and then you'll probably want like all the dies, right? Yeah. So Sala, if you want to send me an email with your address, I could mail you a couple too. I wouldn't mind mailing stuff to Finland. It would be fun. I've mailed some things to Australia, so I'm getting very continental. All right, so that's all, ladies. Thanks for popping in. We didn't have Robert join us tonight. Huh. I think he might be afraid of me now. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. And we'll get a little scrappy. tomorrow. So everybody enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. Um, we spooked them away for Halloween. There you go. I'm glad you all popped in. I hope you enjoyed this. I had fun. So hopefully that kind of showed through. I think this will be fun when we get some pictures on there and we'll add some other elements too. So until next time, happy crafting, happy scrapping, happy junk journaling, whatever it is you do. We'll see you next time.